It's James from the Fit RV, and we are here at the South Texas RV Supersale. It's the last day, and I'm here with Terry Cooper, the Texas RV professor. How's the show going for you, Terry?
It has gone well. James, I appreciate you taking the time. It has gone well. It has been a good show. I've been very impressed with some of the audience that we've had, and particularly some of those newbies, and we use that term for those that haven't bought yet. The classes have been full.
Cool.
So,
he has been giving seminars all week long, and I've got into myself for a few minutes, so I thought I'd pick his brain on some things. The first thing I want to ask you about is we filmed a segment where we pick out the best first small travel trailer for a young family starting out.
Okay.
And one of the requirements is they wanted to be able to tow it with their current SUV. So we had to look at single axle, keep it under 3,500 pounds. But it's going to be light.
Okay.
And it's windy in Utah. It's windy here today.
Oh yes.
So I know he's going to need some help keeping that thing safe and stable on the road. And I'm not much of I'm a motorhome guy. So what sort of things should Tyler be looking to as far as keeping his trailer safe and straight down the road?
Well, you know, good thing about you guys have already identified what his gross vehicle weight is for the trailer. Right. You probably have already done your homework as far as what the gross combined weight capacity is of his SUV. So you've got that homework done, because that's critical, matching those two together. You'd be surprised how many times people want more trailer than they can tow. Oh yeah. And the problem we run into there is that, yeah, they can get it started, but can they get it stopped? Stopping is definitely the bigger safety issue. But the big thing is that Tyler's going to need to look at is some sort of sway control system and some sort of a leveling system. And by that I mean, we use a term called, we need to equalize the load. And if you can imagine, you have the trailer here and you have the SUV here. Many times when we couple them up, we have the hitch system dipping. Because what happens with the trailer, 15% of the weight is on the tongue of the trailer. Oh. And that's quite a bit of weight when you start applying that to the hitch system.
In the back of his vehicle.
Yes. So what happens is we got a dip there. Okay. Well, you think, okay, well that's not a bad thing. But what takes place is that we start changing the dynamics of your braking as well as your weight carrying capacity. So for instance, if the trailer is pushing the tail of the SUV down, we're raising the front tires up. That's where most of his braking is going to be on that SUV. Now I would suspect that the SUV may even be front wheel drive. Well, Utah is probably four wheel. Okay. So what we have there is that all four wheels of that towing vehicle are not making good solid contact with the surface. So he loses traction for not only going and taking off, but also for the braking effect. Okay. It's Steph's grandkid, so I'm sure she wants him to be able to stop. So Tyler, I'm hearing you need sway control and an equalizer. Sway control is going to help keep it straight. And you will appreciate that when some big semi comes alongside of you, because of just the very vacuum that these guys have. They will suck you into them, and then as they pass, they'll push you away. And I have seen folks end up into the ditch because they got pushed off because this trailer is flipping around and trying to compensate for all that wind that's buffeting. So there's different types of sway controls, and there's different types of equalizers to bring the tail of the trailer up. The one thing that I would caution Tyler to do is that when he goes to buy this equipment to add on to his SUV and to his trailer, is buy a little bit more capacity than what he currently is going to use. And why is that? Well, we know that if somebody buys an RV and they enjoy it, statistically they will buy 7 RVs in their lifetime. I get to buy 6 more? Absolutely. I always tell everybody it means you're going to live longer, okay? So what's going to happen is that more than likely they're going to outgrow this first one. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, there's not a market for used hitch equipment. Matter of fact, some dealerships will, if you trade it in with the trailer, they will take a cutting torch and cut that hitch equipment up because they don't want the liability, because they don't know what it's been through and what it's done. So if you want to reuse that equipment on your next trailer, you need to make sure that it has the capacity to handle that next trailer. So buy bigger than what he thinks he needs so that he can potentially get some reuse out of it when he upgrades. And we're not talking a lot of money. I mean, it may be something as simple as $100, $200 more. Oh, well, that shouldn't be a problem. Right, and so that's what you run into. So these are things you have to kind of process and think about and say, okay, let's spend an extra $200 to get the right hitch system. Let's get something that will equalize and raise the tail of the towing vehicle as well as raise the nose of the towed vehicle, and let's get some sway control. Okay. And another thing is I've got a little article on our site where I go through how to weigh your vehicle on different axles and set the tire pressure. Okay. So
when you do that, but that's motorhome based. So now when you expand that to a tow vehicle, how does that, or does it change?
It doesn't. It's exactly the same.
So
you're gonna weigh the
vehicle.
Yeah, you do. You weigh the whole combined vehicle. You weigh each axle, and the ideal thing is to weigh each tire.
Yeah, but finding that's harder. You'd have to go to an RV rally or something.
Unless you get a highway patrolman to pull you over and they'll weigh it. But no, but truth be known, if you weigh it, we Americans have a propensity to overload. We really do. Yeah. A lot of folks that I'll talk to say, "Oh, I had a blowout on the side of the road," and you look inside the rig and you see all the things they're carrying, and you think, "I understand why we had a blowout, because we exceeded the weight capacity on the sidewall of that tire."
Okay. So he's going to have to go through the same thing that I've talked about for motorhomes, and that's weigh the axles, weigh the whole vehicle itself, make sure you stay under the weights, and you should be good with that.
Now, definitely want to make sure you check your air pressure when they're cold. One of my pet peeves is go into one of these quick lube places, and they're out there messing around with your air pressure in your tires. And see, they don't know where you've been, how many miles you put on the highway. So these tires are hot, and they're out here playing with the pressure in your tires. So when you get ready every morning before you get ready to leave, just take a few moments and take a digital air gauge and check the pressure in these tires. These tires do leak, and stems leak, and so it's better to find it before you get out on the highway so you can get that issue resolved than on the side of the highway broke down.
Good advice. Now, you've been doing seminars all week, and one of your seminars was on air conditioner maintenance. And one thing I want to talk to you about is something that's got me every year since we've had the RV, and that's the shroud. We had it blow off one year. I'm always seeing it cracked, and it's not from tree strikes. I have not run into any trees. Is there something I'm missing as far as taking care of that shroud?
Well, by the very nature of those shrouds, they get old, they get brittle. There are some aftermarket shrouds that are out there now that the UV protection that's built into the chemical makeup of it seems to be better at resisting the UV rays. I'd recommend going to that route. The next thing is when a lot of times when folks install them, they just plunk that thing down on that air conditioner and run those screws down, never realizing that many times there's little clips that you have to hook the bottom of that shroud into.
So once air gets under it,
lifts it up. And see, Coleman is probably has one of the best connectors on their shrouds, because they've got two little clips on the front, so that way when you go to put that shroud down, you have to catch that shroud underneath those clips. Then you put the 4 screws, or 4 bolts I should say, into the top, and it's really good at holding it down. Our friends at Dometic, they've gone the other route, and they're real good about putting screws all the way around the bottom, and theirs on top as well.
Okay.
But if you leave some of the screws out, or the shroud's been out in the sun,
and I'm sure that's what's getting me. So for me, I'm pretty sure I've got it attached down right, but it's just maybe keep it covered when I've got her parked out in the Utah sun. And
that UV just eats them up. It really does, makes them brittle.
Okay. Next thing I want to ask is, Steph and I do head out in the winter, and so it was important for me to be able to winterize and de-winterize quickly, and so I use compressed air. And one of the things I've done to make it easier on myself is installed a ball valve on the hot water heater drain. And I was worried, and something I asked you about earlier, I was worried about corrosion between, like, a brass valve and the aluminum tank. But you hit on something that's like, maybe I wasn't thinking of this and maybe I should, and that had to do with why you're draining the water heater in the first place.
Okay. Well, the one thing that a lot of times we don't think about is that when they say drain the water heater, we're thinking we're going to get rid of the water.
Right.
The water is just a byproduct that's in there. What we're really after is get all that sludge out of the bottom of the tank, because that tank is laying on its side. Even after you pull the plug and you drain the water out, you still have about 1/4 of sludge water down in there. And what happens is that we brought this calcium, these mineral traces things in with the water when we brought it on board. We heat that water and those solids fall down to the bottom of the water heater. Well, what takes place is, over a period of time, that sludge, that calcium begins to line the inside of the water tank.
It's going to be less efficient.
It coats the heating element, more inefficient.
And it's going to get into your water supply. It's probably the most troubling thing.
I've seen tanks that were so full of sludge that you couldn't even get fresh water into the water heater.
Wow.
Because the inlet for the water heaters is the bottom connection, and the hot water comes out on the top connection. So can you imagine the inlet, which is basically about 2 inches off the bottom of the tank is so full of sludge that water can't even get into the tank to do what it needs to do.
So the drain valve I put on there, okay, that's great for winterizing, but what I want to think about is also taking that off to get the sludge out.
Yes, that's the bad stuff, you know.
Okay.
That's the bad stuff, and that's what we want to get out. And if you want that water heater to last like it should, because these water heaters should go 7 to 10 years without any problem, if we do our maintenance.
It's just like the one at home. Yeah. Draining the tank to get the sludge out.
And you know, the thing is that we always say that 80% of the things that go wrong with these RVs are things that we can fix and take care of ourselves. Somebody would just show us how. And that's why I always tell everybody, learn. It's amazing the information that's out there. And get your information from more than one source. I listen to some of the videos and see some of the forums, and I'm scratching my head. Please don't do that. Somebody's going to get electrocuted. Somebody's going to get hurt. You know. But so education is the key. It really is.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I had for today. So Terry, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us today. And if you want, you can check Terry out at what's your website?
MobileRVAcademy.com.
MobileRVAcademy.com. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.